All right, and we are live. We are at a different time than usual. For those of you that are hanging out with us, John and Lisa are not going tonight. This isn't a head-to-head challenge. I don't want that disaster. But they're not going tonight. Lisa, I believe, had poison ivy, and John's got a sore throat, and they've got a really bad storm headed their way. And if it's the same one that came through here last night, and it's still at strength, we had our power out for about 10 hours last night, and it was rough. The storm was. So hopefully they get through everything okay there. But we do have, as always, my buddy pal and co-host Chattanooga Ed here with us.
Hi
He
guys.
has ran into some computer problems, so he is coming to us from the phone tonight. We appreciate you making that work. And our special guest, Lefty3213A.
Howdy.
See, I can go ahead and throw the display names back up here for this particular setting. There we go. Appreciate you being here. And we may even have somebody else coming on tonight. I don't know.
Snap.
But we are here to answer your fishy related questions. I'll give you all a couple of updates on what's going on. And once we get some more people rolling in here, because this is not our normal time. So people are like, what? No, Fish Room Fever is not on for an hour and a half. I want to present you all with the opportunity to pick what tomorrow's video will be, which one I decide to upload. So we'll get into that here in a little bit. Real quick, though, this guy here, Rico Stan, I feel like I've seen him around before. That name sounds familiar. I'm just kidding, buddy. Rico Stan gifted 5 Fish Room Fever memberships. I appreciate that very, very much, my
Wow.
friend. So we had Hip Hop Hillbilly, Silver Creek Aquarius, SC Catahoulas, Scott's Aquatics, and Fish Dreams. It jumped on me. Did I get them all? Let's get back up here. Fish Dreams, Jimmy P's Aquarium. Yeah, all of them gifted. Oh no, SC Catahoulas, sorry, remember. SC Catahoulas got that hello right in there in between the memberships jumping in. But all of them gifted memberships by Rico Stan. Appreciate that. And welcome all of you awesome new members to the Fish Room Fever family. Appreciate it. Hope you enjoy the behind the scenes stuff. I've got a little clone video that it's part of another video, but I think I'm going to release the clone part of it to the members first so they can have some fun enjoying that. I had fun filming it. And it's introducing a new member to the channel in terms of the filming crew. You're going to be seeing this new guy in more upcoming videos. I hope you enjoy him. He can be a little harsh, but he's got a good heart, and I think you'll get a good laugh out of the same. Let me roll on down here, make sure I haven't missed any highlighted stuff. Did not. Okay, good. Back up to there. What is going on, Hip Hop Hillbilly? Saying liking the new background. Thank you. Little gnat following me around in here. I've got oh goodness, what is it? Like iStock or one of those subscriptions comes as a part of my editing software, and I was like, I might as well use that. I get access to all these free videos, images, and sounds, and I'm not really utilizing it. So I went in there and I downloaded a couple of things, and this background being one of them. So I'm glad you like it. I saw Carol Cox. There it is. Thank you so much, Carol, with the $20 super chat. Says, what a great group. Thanks, guys. Carol, thank you for the love and support. Very much appreciate that. Appreciate you being here hanging out with us. Got about 50 people here, which is awesome, considering this is not our typical time. Normally, KG would be on right now. So our crew, if you will, the Fever fam, is not really used to or accustomed to us being early. But hey, why not? We'll go ahead and get the ball rolling. The thing I want you all to think about, and we'll take a vote here in a little bit, I'll throw a poll up, is I've got 2 different videos that I've considered releasing for tomorrow. One is a product review. I know, yay, another product review. But that's where the introduction of the clone is. The other is an unboxing. Bird Garden, my buddy Rack, sent me not a box, but 4 boxes of stuff, about 80 pounds worth of aquarium stuff. I think he spent about $90 to ship it all to me. So it's got to
Man.
be some decent stuff if you're spending $90 just to ship it to someone. But that's actually what I've been doing up to about 10 minutes before this started, and what I will be completing as soon as we get done here is the filming and display of unboxing all of this really, really cool stuff. So think about that here a little bit. We'll throw a poll up and we'll see what you all would like to see for tomorrow's video, since we are going to be doing Friday releases, at least at this point. That may change in the future, but we want to do a weekly video again, and I think Friday is a good time for it. Fish and Shrimp by Rich, how's it going? Says, any idea how to keep guppies from eating their fry? It says how to keep guppies eating their fry. I'm assuming that was meant to say from eating their fry. And Ed, since I've rambled on for a good little bit, you want to take that one with your thousands of guppies and endlers there?
Yep. The first thing I do is I make sure that I've got some type of good plant so the fry can hide. And a lot of times the female will try to hide while she's having the babies, and she'll eat the babies herself. But I don't know if she's just trying to hide so she's not being bothered, but it gives the fry an opportunity to get away. So plenty of hiding spots. Use something like guppy grass, water sprite, kaboomba. There's so many different great plants out there that you can get that'll work great for guppy fry. And also, sometimes you just have to separate them. If you've got lots of guppies that like to hunt their babies, or just maybe a tank that's just like overly full, you may have to use like a grow out tank and net the babies out, or you can put the female in a breeder box and pull the female out when she's done and just constantly be rotating that. And then also I feed a lot. If the boys are full, then they don't even have food on their mind. So all they're going to do is think about the girls. So, you can just give them a lot of extra food. That's what I normally do also. And it's good for the fry that are in the tank too. You always want to keep them healthy and growing.
Absolutely. Anything you would like to add to that, Lefty?
I would just echo the plants. I used water spangles in my tank, which gave them a nice, cover on the top if they're up there. And I did have one tank where I would separate the females out before she would drop. I put her in a breeder box, and then when she dropped the fry, I would just take her out. Other than that, everything Ed said.
Yeah, I think that's a very well-rounded explanation of a good way to cover those bases. I can't believe I forgot about these. I forgot that I had this stuff uploaded here. Because we had that $20 super chat from Carol, and I didn't even give her a little happy dance. Thank you so much for that. And of course, Rico Stan, thank you, my friend, for those 5 memberships that you donated for the channel. Appreciate that. Speaking of, look at this guy. Here he is.
That's how you do it. You
Rico.
Donate to the channel, and then let you come up. Just a hint for those stream with James.
Excuse me.
If you donate to his channel, he'll let you come up. That's a joke.
Oh goodness. I do want to say hello.
Hi, Rico.
I appreciate you being here, Rico. Lee Graham, welcome. Appreciate you being here. Says his first time being part of the live streams. Hopes to do some learning. Well, hopefully we can help with that. This is the Tank Show. T.A.N.K, time acquiring new knowledge. That's our, attempt every week to cover that. But I did see a question as well. Let me get that real quick before it runs late.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Ahead.
Real quick. The guppy thing. What I find interesting is there are strains out there that aren't interested in eating the fry at all. Like, I'm sure they nibble here and there, But I got some swordtail guppies from Peter, Mob Guppy. Ed, you got some of those, right?
Oh yeah.
Taylor has some. I know Anthony. A whole bunch of people in the fish fam have them. They don't eat the fry at all. So it's very strange to me that there are those strains out there that aren't interested in it. How do we get there? You know what I mean? How do we get the strain to just not be interested?
Yeah. Well, I've noticed that Moscows are really big into eating their fry. So whatever was in their DNA to make them look that way is also the cannibal side also, I guess.
Baby hungry.
Absolutely.
All right, sorry, James.
Tender.
No, you're fine. That is a very interesting question, and I think that's going to take a lot more research and work on it than what we can cover in this for sure. I don't know exactly how we get them there, but there are definitely certain strains that are more prone to or less likely to eat their fry. And it would be great if we could incorporate the aspects that we would like, personality wise, if you will, into some of these fish that are a little more aggressive.
Yeah, I bet nobody's ever thought about line breeding fish to not eat their babies. I mean, like my Japanese blue tails, they don't eat the boys won't eat the babies at all. So I could like put 500 babies with 8 boys and they'll be fine. But the girls will still occasionally nipple on them. So maybe they just need a better, diet or something.
Yeah, more protein or something. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Lee Graham would like to know, is there a good low light floating plant for nano tanks? Who wants to start off there?
Duckweed.
Oh,
it works.
I mean, you're not wrong, but
how about frog bit? It's a little bigger, so it's easier to take out.
I do like the frog
Salvinia?
bit.
I was just gonna say water spangle, Salvinia, that works too.
Any of those
Red root floaters.
They do okay depending on the light in the nano.
Yeah.
I was
go ahead.
I was just looking to see what I had, and to be honest, most of what I have is water lettuce, and it does fine with low light, but it can get huge. So I don't know that it's perfect for the stuff. There's a good point too. Kelly Foreman said she didn't really believe in dwarf water lettuce. So Ed sent me some water lettuce, I don't know, 2 years ago now. I got it in all my tanks, and I actually put it in my pond. And in the pond, there's this, So she's right. There really isn't any dwarf water lettuce. It's just depending on what's, its growing conditions.
That's a very good point. For the nanos, so those are all great suggestions, especially like some of the quote unquote true floating plants. But I'm always looking at odd alternatives. So like one of the things I had fun doing, and this is reverse case, this is for a carpeting plant, was I actually took some of the crafting mat, the crafting grid, and guppy grass, and I made a carpet of guppy grass along one of my nano tanks and installed it in there. But you can use some things like that we've talked about many times before, grasses and mosses and different stem plants and things that you can get away with that not only are really easy to kind of find one that suits the size you want and keep it trimmed to size, but can also give you a varying look as opposed to, I'm used to, I look in this nanoscape and I'm used to seeing these, particular floaters at the top. Somebody looks and goes, what's that floating plant? And you go, what's this? And they go, well, that's a stem plant. And you go, well, yeah, but you can also float it. So you can kind of give a little bit of that dazzle aspect as well by going something that's not mainstream floating.
That's a great point. I have a little 5-gallon shrimp tank right here. That's the top of it has got Rotella, it's got Elodia, it's got Pogostemin, and they're all just floating. The whole top of it. So it's interesting because the shrimp can make its way through there, and it's not totally cutting out the light to the bottom because there's some jungle val in there as well. So it's a good combination. That's a great point. Elodia, to me, Anacris, however you pronounce it, is a great one for that. It does stay up there in that top area. It does do the same thing, but it allows a lot of light to get through.
Absolutely. And you can also get, depending upon what you use, some immersed growth going on, because you take things like I've taken Pogo before and I've floated it for a while, not even for the intent of having it as a floating plant, but just I brought back a bunch of stuff from a fish event, and I needed a couple of days to get stuff sorted and all that. And you'll see where sometimes where you've got it floating, it'll do things that you don't typically see, such as you'll get some immersed growth going off of different plants and things. And that can add a whole nother dimension, especially if you're trying to kind of bring the focal point, not just in the tank, but out of the tank and the whole impact of the thing.
Different colors as well, because a lot of those plants with highlight will get some different colors on them. When you in a low light situation, they don't as much, right? But because they're so close to the top of the tank, they are getting that highlight, just from a simple light. So you can get some different colors from them as well.
Absolutely. Another great point. Hip Hop Hillbilly would like to know, have you ever known autos to chase neons? I had one chasing two of mine. They had a cloudy / milky discolored spot on them and then died the next day. Parameters are all good. 0, 0, 10 to 15 ppm. All others are fine.
Rabies. It's rabies. Fish had rabies.
There you go.
It is. I've seen it a million times.
I cannot ever recall, and again, this is just my experience, but I can't ever recall having autos really chase neons or things like that.
Or anything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually just stick to themselves.
Yeah. That's definitely a weird.
But they will chase each other.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
So maybe if he has just a single one, maybe it's just they like chasing each other. Maybe it's thinks it's a neon. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, that's possible.
And there's always exceptions. Like I had a Cory cat that liked to eat blackbeard algae. How's that happen? I don't know. I had 12 other friends in the tank that didn't touch it, but that guy would jump up on the piece of wood and just nibble away at it till it was gone.
Right.
I mean, it's like people. There's some weird ones. I'm not referring to you, Rico.
Oh, you said weird ones. That's my people.
I know.
Hey, look around. I mean,
it's a group. It's definitely an interesting group.
I'm where I belong. I'm just going to say that.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's not something that I've seen, and I'm hesitant to say it, but I would almost wonder if there was another attribute that was causing them to maybe dart around in a way that was perceived as them chasing, if you get what I'm saying. So maybe something else was going on. It was, we'll say spooking, but I'm not necessarily implying that's what it was, but it spooked, your auto, and it spooked your neons, and they both went the same direction. Or something was happening perhaps that had those fish on edge at the same time, but was not necessarily a chase. It's possible. Again, there are so many variables and one-offs, like Ed mentioned. Sometimes weird things just happen, and you get a Cory cat that wants to eat blackbeard algae, and I need to know how you did that.
And maybe you said it would die the next day, and it had that growth on it, so maybe it was just grumpy. Right. Get out of here, leave me alone.
Yeah. I mean, your water parameters are good, so that covers a lot of things. If the numbers are good, then I wouldn't really worry about it too much in the long term. It stinks that those fish died, but you've got a healthy environment, I would say, if you're running good solid numbers. So I would probably consider it a one-off, unless you happen to, get more of those fish in together and that stinking auto starts chasing again. Then you may just have an ornery auto. I mean, it can happen. It could be that one-off fish is that auto, and he's just going to be a booger. All right, let's get down here. Go ahead.
Vibes Aquatics, he had a question that's kind of it's convention related. He was wondering if you could buy a one-day pass to the Triple Crown. The best bet would have been to have bought it early for $35, but now it's $75, and you're just stuck with the whole thing. So, just wanted to throw that out quick before I forgot.
I mean, if maybe somebody else is going, but they're not going to go one of the days you are, you guys could split it.
Yeah.
You'd have to switch tags.
Oh, that's right. You couldn't,
because they have bad
name tags,
lanyards or whatever.
That's right. Yep. Because I did give away my tickets. I had bought tickets, but can't make it this year, so I gave them away to some fish fan people, and all I had to do was let them know the names. Hippies. The hippies are going. Hippies are going on my dime.
Very cool.
I want to support the hippies.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
That was super nice of you to do that. Killer Kitty 08. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
James. That's like the third time I've done that to you.
I'm used to it.
I wanted to support the I wanted to support the event, so I didn't want to just get a refund. So that was the best thing to do. That way, the event still gets supported. Plus, some amazing people from our community get to go. So
Absolutely. Speaking of support and amazing people, Killer Kitty 08 there gifted 5 Fish Room Fever memberships. Thank you so much for that, Killer Kitty 08. Very much appreciate it. That was very kind of you to do that and show the love for the channel and let some people get in there and see what's going on with the memberships behind the scenes. We got Buddy Viper, T.A.N.K, Aqua, Red Laser, Shane, and Echo Delta, all gifted memberships by Killer Kitty 08. So again, welcome all of you all to the Fish Room Fever family. There's a bunch of stuff behind the scenes, including a funny clone video that I'm going to stick back there for the members to watch when we get done with this. And just lots of videos and stuff, but I think the real hit that everybody likes is the in-chat emojis and that stuff. We do have, and I guess I'll let Rico talk a little bit more about it. We've incorporated into Discord, and I was not the founder of this. Some other awesome people did it, but for the members, Rico, do you want to tell them what we've done, or what you all have done and tagged me into?
no,
No.
I've been talking too much already. Let Lefty say something. Discord server. So Stephen P. actually is the owner of the Discord server, and at first we made it members only, but we were going to bring in a whole bunch of channels. We were going to bring in, Lefty and these two guys and Jess and Alex and just a whole bunch of different channels, and let all the members sort of mingle together. And it was going to be only members. That's it. But Stephen thought it'd be better to open that up and make it available to everybody. So there is a Discord server now. Now, if you are a member on the three of us, well, Ed's not set up yet. Lefty, we're going to invite you. We just haven't yet.
I'm kind of set up.
Lefty, I know you have your own Discord server, so we didn't know if you wanted to join. But anyways, we'll talk about it. James's members are set up. So if you are a member on his channel, all you have to do is sync your account. So there's a YouTube account and a Discord account, and you have to sync those two accounts. And if you do, you're automatically there. There's no invite. There's nothing to do. You're in there. You can get into the members only part of the Discord server, and you can hang out in the rest of it as well. Bunch of people there. It's pretty active. A lot of fun. You can ask questions there. You can post your videos there and get more views on stuff. I mean, just all kinds of different stuff. It's a great tool for the community. And again, because anybody can join, there's no barrier. We're not keeping anybody out. Everybody is welcome to join. What do you got there, Moscato?
This cork was just sitting here, so I thought I'd pick it up and play with it.
It wasn't distracting in any way.
Well, I love, on that note, and then we'll move on to that. But the main reason I love that is because it brings everybody's members together that's on there. So it's not just, hey, there's memberships for me and then your members have it. It's like all of the members can get together. So even if you're not a member of mine, but you're a member of Rico's, or vice versa, you can still hang out with people in that members only section from a bunch of different channels.
Yes, and it's it's going to expand. Alex has expressed interest. Secret History. There's just a whole bunch of people that are going to be on there. We hope that at some point it becomes, the de facto Fish Fam Discord server. Now, it's not to stop anybody else from doing them, obviously, but we just want it to be open. We want everybody to be able to get in there and hang out with everybody and have a good resource for communicating with people. Much like fishfam.link, looking at Mr. Matt down there.
Absolutely. Paul Sotero saying Pogo works great as floater or planted. Yeah, I've found that it can do really well either way. And you can get some interesting growth variations just depending upon how you utilize that plant. Kenny E, which Danican Aquatics, somebody else I'd like to get involved in that Discord, since he is part of the Fish Room Fever family of channels and he's got memberships. Says Fisher Fever, how many bags of fish do you plan to score at the Triple Crown? Anything you're looking for? So I am not planning to score anything at the Triple Crown. I'm not really bringing funding to score anything at the Triple Crown. The only thing that I am potentially looking at bringing back, besides the memories and the film footage and all of that, would potentially be some shrimp, and that's because somebody had mentioned sending me some shrimp, but they're going to be at that event as well. So I need to contact them and say, hey, do you just want to bring them instead of paying to ship them, because shipping's ridiculous. But I'm really looking forward to it in the aspects of getting to attend the thing and just to bring back those experiences, hang out with all the people that are going to be there. Sorry, Rico, I know you're swearing at me in your head there.
I am.
And getting some footage. I've got a lot of different things I'm wanting to try, and I've been spending a lot of hours in terms of trying to up my filmography and doing different courses and things and techniques and that type of stuff. So I've got some really fun stuff I'm wanting to get out in that environment and try out and see if I can then bring it into edit and make it work for you all and bring a kind of a new level to the videos coming out. So I'm really excited about that. But hopefully not a lot of fish. A lot of fish will come once we get everything built on the new property and we set up the fish palace. What about
we're talking about the Triple Crown. Can I mention something?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'll be selling my T-shirts. This is a shameless plug, but hopefully the reason I'm on my phone tonight is because my battery kind of blew up yesterday, and I'm hoping I've got a new battery coming in Saturday. Hopefully it didn't damage my computer, but if it did, I need to sell lots of T-shirts.
I think,
and then I'll just buy a new buy a new computer with the T-shirts if I can do that.
Absolutely.
it looked like it was fine.
Okay, the computer. What'd he say?
He was saying the computer looked like it was fine. The battery is a disaster.
Oh my gosh!
Dangerous. Those things will explode. I mean,
when I was taking it out, it was hissing. It was going.
Ed, that is horrible. That's not inside the house anywhere, is it?
It's in the garage. I put it in a kitty litter bucket. Want me to go get it?
I would put it outside.
I would just get it out of the house and not around anything, because, I mean, they are volatile.
It's supposed to be like this thin, and it was literally 2 inches wide. It had swollen so much.
Oh my god!
It was crazy.
Yeah.
But that's
just to clarify.
Oh, well, real quick. So I won't be having a stream tonight because I don't want to do it from the telephone. So we're going to go straight to Rico after this.
Absolutely. And I do have it linked so that it will go to Rico, not crafted number 1, which is what's still showing up in the background.
From June of last year.
We'll see if it works.
Yeah. That being said, I was trying to help you plug some shirts there, Ed. What shirts are you bringing for anybody that maybe doesn't know what you're talking about?
I'm bringing the Tennessee Mafia T-shirts. I've got about 50 of them. Cool.
Anything else? 2 hats or anything? I know you were trying to get hats.
The last hat I own is on Deadpool up there. I almost said Bloodpool, but Deadpool up there. So I will not be selling that because that's mine.
Yeah, they are. Very cool.
Eventually, I will order more hats. I ordered hats that weren't these, and they've just never come off the boat or whatever from China or wherever they're coming from. I probably just lost some sales. Oh well. They haven't ever come in. And so I had these black and gray ones made, which were really cool, and they sold out instantly. That was really cool.
So you paid for the other ones and they just never came in?
No, they gave me these in replacement. And I just bought 12 because I had no idea if people would like hats, but apparently people really like hats. So I'm waiting for the all black ones to come in, and I ordered 20 of those. So I think this was for some baseball team they had, this gray and black one that maybe they didn't like it or they thought it would. I don't know why they didn't buy them, or maybe they just had too many. But so I had 12 made.
Nice. Here we go. Leo 209 Aquatics, thank you so much for that $2 super chat. Appreciate that. Says, can I have that Corridor, Ed, or borrow it? Needs that Blackbeard algae eating Cory. I think we need to start shipping that around the fish fam.
Start cloning the thing.
Definitely.
There's a little bandit Cory.
Oh wow. Leo, thank you very much. Appreciate the love and support with the super chat. And yeah, we need to get Ed on to breeding that Corey out and seeing if we can make that a thing.
Yeah, would be nice.
That's what Killer Kitty said. Killer Kitty 08 said we need to breed that Corey cat. Absolutely. I'm gonna roll on through here. I do want to say, I know it's a little different time frame, so we've got some people that maybe normally wouldn't be in here. The way that we formatted, if you've got any questions or comments, feel free to throw those in the chat. If you'll put the @ symbol and then Fish Room Fever in there, it highlights on my screen and it makes it pop out, makes it really easy to find that, because we are here to assist in any way we can, or even if you just want to say hello and want to shout out live on the air, throw that Fish Room Fever in there and we'll read off whatever you got, assuming that it's, YouTube safe to read off. Lilibet Tavros with $3 super sticker with that "How's it going, Fox?" Thank you so much for that. It is going great, and I appreciate the super sticker. Always good to see you, Lilibet. I hope you're doing well. There's Paul mentioning the @Fish Room Fever. Thank you so much, Paul, and all the awesome moderators putting in work and keeping things family friendly and helping the chat along there. So now that we've got 91 people watching, which is it's slower than our normal Thursdays, but that's awesome. And I appreciate all of you all being here, given that it's a different time than when we're normally on. But now that we've got some people hanging out, I want to pose the question again, and I'll throw a poll up. I've got 2 options for videos for tomorrow's release. We've either got a product review video, which has Clone Me in it, the premiere of the clone. It's got that footage in there. Or we've got an unboxing video where I unbox not 1 but 4 boxes that Bird Garden sent to me. A little over 80 pounds worth of stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. I'm looking over here because I've still got a bunch of it laid out for a shot for as soon as we get done here and I go back to filming that. So we'll put a poll up. I'll give everybody a little bit of time to think about that. I'll let Ed share what he's trying to show us in the box, and I'll get this poll set up real quick.
Oh, I didn't mean to do that to you.
Was that from Ash?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry, James. I wasn't trying to change your subject.
You are fine, buddy. It was a segue until you ruined it. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
This is from Ash White Cloud. Wait, yes, White Cloud. I almost said White Feather, but White Cloud. She is so awesome. This came up out of the ocean in a crab trap, and it weighs, I bet, 15 pounds. I think it's filled with like sediment from the ocean, and it smells like, have you ever get the lobsters? And they have big fat rubber bands on the lobsters. Anybody?
Yeah.
Do you ever sniff the lobster rubber band?
No.
It smells like the ocean.
Can't say I have.
Well, you need to do that next time. And that's what this thing smells like.
Smells like lobster rubber bands.
Yeah.
That's a great name
And
for a band.
I have a very, very cool thing I'm going to turn this creepy thing into. So, and if you haven't seen my unboxing of this, I released it, I think, 2 days ago. It's, I think it's called KG Style or something like that. Because I was also unboxing the new sharks from KG Tropics.
Very cool.
Nice. Very nice.
Fantastic, freaks. Thank you so much for that $3 sticker with the fist bump pair. Appreciate it. Very, very nice of you. Always good to see you. I hope you've been doing well. Yet another member of the Fish Room Fever family of channels, which is a group of people that we've all come together, and it's people that I think bring a value in one way or another, if not several, to the community, because that's what we're here for. It's community. That's the whole reason I'm here. So they're people I highly recommend based on that aspect. For anybody that's not familiar and think, what the heck is a Fish Room Fever family channel? That's way too long. Can we cut that title down, please? But thank you, fantastic freaks. Very much appreciate the support, my friend. I hope you're doing well. Xanadu would like to know, where can I get a Tennessee Fish Mafia shirt if not going to the Triple Crown?
Well, if there's any left, I'm going to be taking them to Dallas. And then I'm sure I'll have more made by the time I go up to the Clash, if he'll be at the Clash. I'll also be in Chicago, Aquashella. And those are, I think, all the events I'm doing for the rest of this year. But I'm also going to probably try to set up a Get Gills page and put it on there. And then you could buy them from that.
Absolutely. So stay tuned to Chattanooga Ed for updates on where to get that Tennessee Fish Mafia merch.
And how much is a shirt, Ed?
$20.
Okay.
I was reading chat, Ed, and there was nothing you were saying or anything.
Oh, that's good.
Is the hashtag
Absolutely.
lobster sniff?
Oh, God. Hip Hop Hillbilly says, I was thinking of getting my niece and nephew a 10-gallon tank. I know my niece will love some crystals and geodes in it. Is that doable or no? I know it will change pH. Any other worries? So, I've done it. Hashtag don't yell at me. You will get the fish police that will yell at you. A lot of it depends upon exactly. There's no good yes or no. If there was, it would lean more towards no. It's a bad idea because there are a lot of things that can go wrong with different rock types, and pH values going way off, stuff like that. But it really can depend upon exactly what you're putting in the tank because rocks are different. So I don't want to tell you yes, and then you take something that's going to be really funky porous and have leaching problems or erosion problems or really throw off your pH, for example. Anything, and this I will include that in there, any type of rock that you're going to put in there, I recommend that you clean it thoroughly, just like you would if you bought some rock from the store. You went and you got some rock from the lake or the creek or whatever. Soak it really, really well, scrub it, rinse it, all that good stuff. I'd probably soak it again. I don't have the rock episode coming up. I have the algae and plant episode coming up. Those would be my main things. I will turn it over to the rest of the panel to give their thoughts and opinions on that.
I don't know enough about the crystals to know if they would affect anything. I just feel like they would, though, because, well, I mean, they're solid. They're glass, basically, right? They're,
Yeah. The crystals, I think you're a lot safer with. It's more the geodes where you can run into what rock is, on the outside of that.
Yeah.
What is that encased in?
Yeah.
So,
which is soft, usually the outside part of the geode. So, I maybe just stick with the crystals only, just to make sure. That's a good question, though, and I'm interested in, and because I think done right, geode could look amazing in there.
absolutely.
I would love to know if that's possible. Next,
You're me,
I've
Lefty.
done it. Yeah.
I've put them in tanks before. I've done amethyst before, quartz, and I think argonite was the other one. And I didn't notice any adverse effects with the fish. Again, it wasn't the ones on the rocks, though. It's the ones that have been cleaned and polished. There was no random whatever from the rock. That's what I've done. I did it in a beta fish tank, and the fish lived for its normal 3.5, 4 years. So that's my experience with it. So it can be done.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, I've been thinking about making them. As I've actually been thinking about just pouring the chemicals and making the plastic ones to put in your tank that'll look awesome, and they'll be completely fish tank safe and a whole lot cheaper than putting the real deal in there. So, you could keep the nice ones on the shelf and then put some fake ones in your tank. And that'll probably be a project I'll be doing in another month or two on the Crafted Ed.
Absolutely. I think that sums it up well. Tom Patterson using his membership milestone super chat, been a member for 20 months. And again, I hope the members that you are enjoying those new member badges and the refresh on the emojis. I think we are only, given the gifted memberships, I think we're only one member away from getting a new emoji unlocked.
Wow.
So I'll have to go look at that. I know we were 11 or 12 away last time I looked last week.
Nice.
But Tom would like to know any no drill sump vids in the future. Yes. I can't promise as to when, but I know that there will be one, because when I set up the 220, I am going to build a sump system for it, and I'm not going to drill that tank. I ran that. Thank goodness this is mostly freshwater, because there'd be some people cringing. But when I ran that as a 220 gallon reef, a decade plus ago, it was run on sump, and it was not drilled. It was strictly the overflow sump method with no drilling in it. So I will definitely do a video on that, but I can't promise as to when. At this point, it's just uncertain. Future unclear, right? But yeah, that will be coming. And who knows? I may be able to find a way to set up and film something beforehand, just to give like a demonstration video. And knowing that you're looking for something like that, I'll see what I can work in. I am doing a lot more filming. I'm filming stuff every day now, so it makes it easier to get to a lot more projects, even if it's just project for filming purposes. But again, Tom, thank you so much. Always good to see you. I just want to say real quick, These Aquatics, we appreciate you being here, and I'm glad that you did start a channel. But given that I haven't gone and looked at your channel, I can't just throw out a random recommendation. Hey, everybody, go check it out, because I've never seen your channel, in all honesty. What I will tell you, and then we'll jump back into fish stuff, but what I will tell you is we have a very loving and amazing community here. And to just be a part of that community. And if you're a part of that community and you're bringing value to that community, and you happen to have a channel, people will find out about that channel, and people want to be a part of that channel. And I'm telling you this because most people would just ignore where the mods have deleted it, roll past, and you just be like, these people are mean. I just wanted a shout out. But I'm kind of explaining what you're looking at, and why maybe asking for it's not the best way. Just be a part of it. I mean, we've got, out of the 89 people currently watching, if I had to guess, 50%, if not more, of the people in here, just from the names that I see and I know and I'm familiar with, have channels. So, just be a part of the community. Don't push it. Don't rush it. I'm glad that you've got a channel, and I'm glad you're psyched about it, because it's always very cool. But just let it happen a little more organically. And who knows? Maybe I'll be asking you for a shout out in a month or two, right? Let me go back up here. Thank you, Zen and the mods, for posting links. Hip Hop Hillbilly saying thanks, guys. Hip Hop, you are welcome. Appreciate you being here as always. I know it jumped on me, so I want to make sure I don't miss too much stuff here. See, Scuba Stevo had something there. All right, we are to Scuba Stevo. Let's grab that. Scuba Stevo, what's going on? It says our fish room fever and Ed going to the Clash. Ed's going to the Clash, last I knew. I will not be at the Clash, unless something just crazy happens and I end up being whisked away to the Clash. I will not be at that one. But I will be at the Triple Crown, and I will be at Aquashella Dallas, Aquashella Chicago. Unfortunately, the Clash is the one that I'm just, not going to be there for. Sorry, Rico.
I may be.
That's right.
I may be taking my mom for the whole time. It depends on if I drive her to Massachusetts and then come back or what. But she's thinking about just staying the whole time, and then I'll drive to Massachusetts and get my aunt. My dad, he's going to be having a pacemaker put in the week before.
Oh.
So now my dad can't go. So,
Well,
who knows?
I mean, hopefully your mom has a good time.
Yeah, Chattanooga mom might be there.
Well, it'll be good to at least get to meet her.
I guess.
I guess. Wow.
She corrects everything I say.
Oh, Ed's mom is awesome. I love Ed's mom. So
I'll be
Richard said, go ahead, buddy.
Well, I'll say like, oh, here's Lefty and Rico. And she'll say, don't you mean Rico and Lefty? And I'm like, what? That's what she does to me all the time.
I'm going to do that the entire time at the Clash. I'm going to be correcting you constantly about everything. Even when you're right. Even when you're right, I'm still going to correct you. That's my goal now. I have a goal.
I encourage you to do that. Richard said, Fish Place, you mean the people that think you got to have 2 or more FX6s on a 55 and bigger? Yes, those people. The people that don't have the true concepts of fish keeping and just go, oh, you got to do this. or you got to do that, or the people that have such a great in-depth understanding of one particular aspect that they think that nothing else could possibly work or be correct if it wasn't that way. Paul Stera saying, I'm using the new Shark Pro 700 and a 20 long with the coupe sponge. The tank is water. The tank's water is crystal clear. That is awesome. That sounds like a really good combination. And I'm sure that is a beautiful looking tank. There was hip hop. There was Zim posting a link. Chat jumped on me there. Any projects you gentlemen want to share? Anything coming up?
Sure. Actually, right here on the floor behind me, anybody who's watched me knows this is missing. So I took down 2 of the Guppy tanks so far. This one's gone over here, and this one's gone. It's actually on the floor because I still haven't finished cleaning it up. It's a 45 tall, and it's just awkward. It's not heavy, although the back of it is a mirror, so it is heavier than your standard. It's an old tank, but I was supposed to finish it this week, and I didn't. It was hot. I was tired. I didn't do it. But there's a 29 gallon on the floor right here. You can barely see it. It's going up there as well as 2 of these little 5 gallons. So that's the fish room project going. I'm getting rid of all guppies. All of them are going away. That's not entirely true. I'm keeping a small batch of them so I can tub every year and take a lot of them to the Keystone Clash every year and give them away. So, but that's going to look better. So it looks a little weird right now. There's a big open space. You see that really ugly wallpaper that I put up there just to, it's like I don't even know. It's like cherry trees or something.
I thought you had an orchid growing back there.
Just right inside the house. Yep. It's a forever room.
I love it. Excuse me, goodness. Liquid Zoo saying left today's background. Thank you, Liquid Zoo. I appreciate that. We're going to be cycling through some different backgrounds and different episodes and different series that we're working on. I appreciate that. Richard was saying, sorry, I've been lurking and listening. I came home to my wife telling me that my 3-year-old decided to put sweet tarts in my tank. So I've been cleaning and water changing. I think most of us with kids have been there at some point in time. That was actually one of the reasons that I did take a break from the hobby for several years, was because it was just a matter of, regardless of how much I enjoyed fish keeping and was going to miss it and did miss it, it just was one of those things that at that time with the kids, it just wasn't really safe for the fish. So I had to keep that in mind. And also I was breeding piranha at that point, so it wasn't really safe for the kids,
Kids ruin everything.
That's what your mom's thinking, Ed. That's what your mom's thinking.
It is.
She always corrects you.
That's exactly it. So I feel you, Richard. Good luck with getting that cleared up, and hopefully everything makes it through all right. It normally get it fixed. So
I wonder what that does to the water parameters too. I'm curious to know what changes with those in there.
With sugar.
Yeah, sugar, and that's mostly what it is. So what does that do to it?
I had my nephew dumped a great big thing of Tums in my 125 African cichlid tank.
Wow.
And I was on vacation. And so when I came home to a tank filled with milk.
Ooh.
And smelly dead fish. And it looked like milk.
Damn kids.
Yeah.
Can I say something real quick here? Joe Coffey said something, and I'd like to address that. Where was I? got to scroll back up to it. Right here. Joe says, and if you bring nothing to the community like me, then you will spend eternity in timeout. Well, Joe, I disagree that you bring nothing to the community. Just having you in the chat with us and hanging out. I've been seeing your name over the last few weeks, at least, hanging out in a lot of the streams and stuff, especially on Thursdays. That's all it takes to be part of the community, is you being here. So you definitely bring something to the community just by being here and hanging out and talking to us.
I waved when I saw him.
Absolutely. No, I agree 100%. It doesn't matter how much a person, we'll just use ourselves, how much we know, or how well we can bring up a topic or discuss things or try to educate. If there's not the community there that wants to be a part of that, the viewer perspective, it does no good.
Yeah.
So that viewing audience, even if you have never quote unquote contributed anything into the chat, I know we've got a lot of lurkers out there, and I love you guys. I appreciate you. Don't think I don't notice you when we've got 90 people watching and only 40 of those are talking. I know that means we've got a lot of awesome people just listening. That in and of itself is a huge contribution, and I appreciate that. And going back to creator concepts, I encourage every creator to keep that in mind. If you have a channel, don't forget those people just because you don't see those people. They're a huge aspect of what we do. So
Yeah.
you go back up here. I saw some. Oh, that was just Paul. It was just Paul telling people how to get my attention. Just wave something shiny in front of me and put that @ symbol in there. All right, let's get back down here. Bob Purcell, always good to see you, Bob. Says, would you do a Tidal 35 or 55 on a 20-gallon tall? Maybe converting it from fresh to salt in a few months, but the current filter is having issues, so maybe replacing it. That's going to depend, in my opinion, on whether or not you are converting it from fresh to salt. I would probably say go with the 55 in either case, just because that additional flow in that 20 tall is going to be nice. But if you're going salt, definitely go the 55 route, just because in the world of salt water, we are typically looking for a much higher turnover rate than what oftentimes people target or select as a value for freshwater tanks, even though I have found that just about any fish, there are obviously some exceptions, but the majority of fish do appreciate a good bit of flow in a tank. You want to have break points and things like that, places that they can go and take a rest. But most fish enjoy having the option of being able to go and spend time in a high flow area. So oftentimes people might think, oh, well, that's enough flow in the tank. And it may be sufficient, but it may not be optimal, is what I was getting at. Y'all are welcome to chime in there. Rico, I'm going to stop. That way you're not cutting me off, and you can speak, sir.
I had nothing to add for that one. Oh, that's a good one. I keep waiting for that to pop up over here somewhere so I can, like hug it or something.
Grab it.
Like, yeah. You never know where they're going to be at. We
yeah.
Keep people on
that one
toes.
Was right on Lefty. And then when you had Grant on the other night, it kept going right over Grant. So he was gone, and it was just, because he was right there.
Yeah, that would, yeah.
I love it.
Some thoughts?
I would also say the 55, because you can also turn the flow down in 2 different spots. So if you end up having too much flow in your 20, you can turn it down at the top and at the bottom level and just adjust it as you need it. And then if you decide to upgrade the tank down the road, you've already got a filter that's rated for a bigger tank. So I would say go with 55.
Ed?
Now, was it for converting for salt water, or was it just for a normal tank?
It was for a tank that may potentially be converted to salt water, but the current tank, the current filter is having issues, so it's whether or not to go with the bigger Tidal or the smaller Tidal, the 35 versus the 55 in a 20 tall.
I would go with either and just put a big old sponge filter in there. It's going to not break as much. It's going to be cheaper. It's going to be quieter. It's going to be 100 times better. And if you want to start a new tank, just pull it out and drop that in there, and then you've got a seed for a new tank. Can't lose on a sponge filter.
I don't know that the difference between those two filters is that great to really, you know what I mean? I would go with the higher end one, but that's just me. Because price-wise, even, I don't think they're a huge difference between them. And it would definitely, there's ways to turn it down if you need to, if it does seem to be overkill.
Absolutely.
Ed's turned into a cat.
Yeah, it's only a $13.
He has. Ed is a cat. Real
$13 difference?
13, yeah. So it's not that big of a jump.
Yeah.
It's really not. No, it wasn't too terribly bad. Bobby from, is that Michigan? I'm horrible with the M's. Am I? So help me out. One of y'all knows what MI is. Bobby from MI becoming a member. Welcome to the Fish Room Fever family. Thank you for joining the team. I hope you enjoy the behind the scenes content, the Discord, the emojis, all that wonderful stuff. And I really do appreciate your support, because that's what makes it possible to do the things that we do and try and bring the value through information or entertainment that we try to bring.
Speaking of that, real quick, James,
Yes.
do you have plans for your members only? We had discussed some things. Do you still have plans to
We
do your
did.
members only
Yes.
stream?
So we are going to do it. I would like to run it after yours. I don't know that I'll do um, the duration that we talked about. So I don't know that I want to do an hour and a half members only on Mondays.
Yep.
That may be a thing, that may not. Depends on how the members feel. YouTube is horrible about sending
Yeah.
stuff out. So like we had the members only streamer. It was just Ed, myself, and you, which was
Yeah.
fun, but
Yeah.
it didn't really, benefit the members, so to speak, other
Yeah.
than, yourself, baby, quote unquote, because you go, hey, I got them to myself. All right.
Yeah. It was a
So
blast.
we'll see how that goes. I do definitely want to do Mondays, at least for the time being, and I do want to follow you, but I don't know that I will do it for that set specific length as, hey, we're going to go all the way until this person starts their live stream.
Okay. We
but
could
we're
always start
definitely
later too. If you feel like an hour, we could move them back a little bit, and I can we'll go, then you go, and then we can roll right over to Steven if you like. But yeah, we can talk
absolutely.
about it. But I am going to be doing a members only on Monday again. So if you want to talk about it Sunday night or something, I'll look for an email and we can talk about it. And
we'll definitely do one this upcoming Monday. I'm still not sick anymore, but this past Monday was just horrible. And then with not having the timing worked out, because if you don't pre-schedule those member things and have them posted in advance, nobody knows about it, like we talked about. So at that point, I looked and I'm like, nobody's even going to get a notification if I do it for 2 hours from now. I can barely talk. I'm going to be all snotty and coughing, and we'll just skip this week because there was no expectation to see it this week. But yes, right, next week we'll have that.
Yeah, that is one thing YouTube needs to really work on, is getting those members only things worked out. I mean, it's not that hard. We're not looking for anything major. Just treat it like a regular stream, but ship it out to the members only. I mean, it's not rocket surgery.
It's definitely something that could be worked on. Paul Sotero saying, back in the day, my cousin dumped aftershave in my tank because his father wouldn't let him have one. My cousin bought a lot of fish that day. I bet. And I'm sorry to hear that, but you never know. It's a crazy world.
What kind of aftershave was it, I wonder? I'm wondering what the fish smelled like.
It's gotta be Old Spice. It's the only kind.
There was Aqua. There was another one I remember like wearing when I was a young man in the mid 70s.
I wouldn't know.
Don't remember what it's called now. I used to get a kit every year from my grandma. She'd give me the cologne and the aftershaves and stuff, and I can't remember the name of it.
Was it Stetson?
Brute.
Oh, Brute. Yeah.
Drink water. Got it. Brute.
Never heard of it.
Aqua Velva was the other one too, though. Karate Eye. Now we're all. Sorry,
you could
Jamie.
drink the Aqua Velva.
What?
You could drink Aqua Velva.
Did you drink Aqua Velva, Ed?
I have.
Really? What's it taste like?
It tastes like peppermint schnapps.
I mean, is it basically just alcohol? Just drinking
Probably.
alcohol?
It's peppermint.
I think so.
That's why your mom's correcting you all the time. We found out
exactly it. Joe Coffee here, grounding his back out, says, in seriousness, I add 1 Tums each month to my tanks for added calcium. Is that a stupid myth that I should not be doing? I have never noticed a problem from it. I have not found anything to say, no, don't do that. If you look at the basics of it, you're doing exactly that. You're adding calcium to the tank. I've used that trick before. I know a lot of snail breeders who have used that trick to help keep shells healthy on their snails, especially if you've got a lot in one tank. I go ahead.
No, finish your thought. I just didn't want to interrupt you again. I've done it enough today. So
you're fine. You're fine. That pretty much sums it up. I'm sure there are different little caveats when you could probably get into flavors or additives or not basic Tums, but other than that, on to you, Rico.
I was just going to say that Crayfish Empire will sell you a bag of calcium for shipping costs only, and it's a good size.
Very
It's a
nice.
good size little bag. Our own Mystery Snail Guardians, Annette, she works closely with Crayfish Empire. She doesn't work for them, but she does a lot of stuff with them. But that stuff, I mean, it's a great price. It's shipping only, and you can't go wrong with that. It's even better than it's even cheaper than the Toms.
I bet they
Yeah.
pair with snail cookies.
Maybe so.
Probably.
Could be. Those are good snail cookies, though.
I wish
my
I could
shrimp
get
love
some.
them. My shrimp absolutely love them. So snails do too, obviously, the mystery snails and everything. But my shrimp go crazy for those cookies.
I need to get some.
You got to
Absolutely.
go look at Mystery Snail Guardians. She'll get you all hooked up with those.
Yes,
You
she
can even
will.
get the Mystery Snail Guardian kit, which it's on the floor down here underneath this tank. I think you can barely see this emblem on it, the logo. But she has this really cool Mystery Snail Guardian kit. It's a nice reusable plastic container, and it's got the snail cookies, a big bag of snail cookies. It's got some of the calcium. It's got some samples. It's got big calcium blocks. It's got calcium chips. I mean, just a whole bunch of stuff. Everything you need really to get started with snails and shrimp. Really, everything in there is good for shrimp as well. Can't go wrong with it.
She's tried to contact me twice through email, but I just don't get them. I found out that Liquid Zoo is now offering emails to Patreons, and I'm a Patreon, so I'm going to get a second email. I've had my one email for almost 25 years now.
If you start using email, Ed, I am going to be so proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
I've
I've got over 100,000 unread emails.
I'll protect you from your mom when she tries to correct you at the clash. I promise.
Oh,
If you
goodness.
start using email.
Well, so I'm going to kick this next one over to Lefty, since it's addressed to myself and Lefty. Scuba Stevo's Aquatics. Always good to see you, Scuba Stevo, another member of that Fisherman Fever family of channels. Says, how long does it take for a sponge filter to get enough beneficial bacteria to kickstart a tank? To you, Lefty.
I want to say it's like a minimum of 4 weeks at least, but personally, I probably wouldn't feel comfortable using a sponge that hasn't been in a tank for like 3 or 4 months to seed another one. But that's just me. But I want to say the bare minimum is like 4 to 6 weeks for a bacteria to actually be seeded onto one. But I could be wrong. James?
I won't say that you're wrong. First, we'll start with the non-answer, and that is it depends. So it depends on what the stocking level is on a tank. If you're trying to seed a sponge and you've got one betta in there, you don't really have a lot of beneficial bacteria because you don't require a lot. And beneficial bacteria only grows to the level in which we allow it to or we feed it to. So if you've got 6 Oscars, we'll use Oscar because they're typically messy and they produce a lot of waste, which gives us our cycle start, and we can run through there and it creates beneficial bacteria. So if I've got a tank and it's got 6 Oscars in it and I want to seed a sponge, I might throw that sponge in there and then feed them a little extra to kind of bump that up and get some additional beneficial bacteria going in there, kind of go over where my typical, it's going to fluctuate a little bit, but where my typical line is of beneficial bacteria. Technically speaking, the beneficial bacteria that we're looking at in our tanks, specifically for cycling and for filtration, on the upper end, reproduces within 24 hours. Can duplicate within 24 hours. There's a couple different types. One's closer to like 16, I think, and one is like 18 to 24. But if you have a tank, again, the non-answer, if you have a tank that is producing sufficient waste, so you've got your ammonia and then you're going into your nitrite and your nitrate, and it's growing that beneficial bacteria, I've seeded filters in a week. I've not had a problem, and I will put the disclaimer out there. I haven't gone and taken these and put a sample under a microscope, but I've taken a filter that I have seeded in a shorter period of time from something that has a large bioload causing additional bacteria and put it into a new tank to start the cycle and had no problems and had that tank going just fine with no issues and no crazy spikes. So there's your long non-answer of an answer, but it gives you all the variables to take into account with what you're trying to do and hopefully find the solution that's just right for you. That being said, go with what Lefty said. Better safe than sorry. Give it like 3 weeks and you know that you're probably good.
I just leave an extra sponge filter in the tanks. It's not even hooked up. It's just in there. There's one has been in this 55 gallon for like almost 2 years now, you know, and I just haven't had to use it, but it's just sitting in there. I don't think they're ugly or anything. It doesn't bother me to see them. You know, some people can't stand to see them, but if you don't care about the aesthetics, I just always put an extra sponge filter in any tank that's bigger than, you know, a 10 gallon, a 20 gallon, anything bigger than that. Every single one of them has an extra sponge filter in it.
Absolutely. Ed, thoughts? Do you know where we're at?
Yeah, yep. You know, I learned something new about sponge filters yesterday. Did you know with a standard sponge filter, you can put charcoal in it? And if you've got like you're metting your tank, you can pour charcoal down the middle of it and help pull that the meds out. I had no idea you could do that with a sponge filter.
Makes sense.
It does. I would add, I guess you'll call it a cautionary note in saying that if I've just treated a 75 and I've got 2 of the 40-gallon sponges, one running in each corner, and I put some pelletized carbon, you know, down into each of those, the amount of carbon I have in there is probably not going to remove the full medicinal dose that I've got in that tank. So just kind of keep that in mind, that you've got to have a ratio of carbon to medicines that you want to pull out, because at a certain point, carbon doesn't do anything anymore. It's not something that will continue to pull out. And I know you know that, Ed, but just for, you know,
in what size tank?
Well, that's any tank. Take into consideration how much carbon you're really getting in that little area in the tube, and how much carbon you would probably need to be able to pull those meds out.
Gotcha. I would go with a hospital tank too. You know, make it a little tank so you don't have to use as much medicine for the fish.
Yeah,
makes it easier.
I would feel like the carbon would, you know, the air stone or whatever you have in the sponge filter would be making it pop out too. I guess.
Yeah, I don't. You know, you take this air stone out.
Totally.
Yep.
So there's an airline still just an airline into it, or
not the co-op ones you can't do it with, but like a standard black sponge one has a metal straw down the middle.
Gotcha.
And so the carbon can fill up around the sides, and then the air will still pull through.
That makes sense, because I was thinking the co-op ones, and those would not work that way, because you put it in there and then maybe put the airline on top of it. It wouldn't work.
That's how I actually learned about it, because this guy was telling me the only negative he could really find with the co-op ones, and I'm like, okay, that's a negative. I've never done that in my life. But then I thought about it and I said, well, it might work.
Yeah.
Well, I've designed a thing. I have to build it to make the video, and I'll give it away. And somebody else will hear this and do the video, and it'll go viral, and I'll be mad. But it'll help people, so that's the important thing. Because who cares if it's me, as long as it helps. You can actually use PVC fittings and tubing and build kind of. Think of an egg tumbler for those of you that are familiar with that egg tumbler system. I know Scuba Stevo is. Where you're pushing that air through the bottom. You're almost building something like that, but you're creating a chamber to put carbon in that you then pop onto your sponge filter. There's some more intricacies to it than that. It's got, you know, like I mentioned, that crafting mat in there to keep the carbon from going in or out, like you mentioned, so it doesn't fall in, it doesn't float out. But there are ways to build things if you think outside of the box and think outside of the sponge. That are pretty simple, that are efficient.
Basically, a box filter on top of that outtake from the sponge, right? Basically, something like that it passes.
Yeah, something
through.
Similar to that, exactly. And I had that because I was watching. And another way to do it, we have carbon pads now. So this is probably the easiest way to most efficiently do it for the most people. Go to your local fish store. This is not a carbon pad, but this is the same thing that you would be getting, and we'll pretend this is a sponge filter, not just a pre-filter sponge. So you got your sponge filter, you've got your carbon pad that you bought. and you just wrap it around. And so as that sponge filter is running, it's pulling the water through that carbon filter before it goes into the other filtration. That's probably the easiest way to do it for most people that aren't trying to build something that they're going to use multiple times for pulling meds or things like that. That being said, hello, Pam, and welcome. Appreciate you being here. Says, hi, all new to Fish Room Fever. Well, we appreciate you being here. It's always great to see new faces and new names. Even though I'm not seeing your face, I'm just seeing your name up there. But you get what I'm saying, and we appreciate you being here. Welcome. I see the chat giving you a welcome as well. So I'm always glad to see that. Rico Stan, what time did you set yours for? I know we kind of threw things together at the last minute.
I think I set it for 9:30 Eastern time.
Okay.
No. Yeah, I think I did, but that would have been wrong because you were doing an hour and a half now. Oh no, I scheduled 11 p.m. That's wrong. I never went back and changed it. That's
Well, that
because I
works.
set it up originally before I
Yeah.
found out that KG wasn't going. So basically, I'll change it whenever you're ready. So don't feel rushed in any way.
Sounds good. And I've got the send over set up so that we will magically teleport over. I just wanted to make sure you hadn't set it for 9, and then I'd rambled over 11 minutes past when you had it set for.
Because I know we had talked about changing. You and Ed were going to start going an hour and a half since I was no longer doing the late show. So, but again, it's right now. It's currently set for 11 p.m. Don't feel like you have to go for another, hour and 45 minutes. But if you want to,
I don't think we'll do that because I still need to finish filming and editing 2 videos. Get one of those posted for tomorrow, and also get some members only footage put up. But we will go for about another, 18, 15 minutes there. We'll go till 9:30 Eastern time. Give us a nice round off there.
Okay.
Somebody asked if Lefty's mic was broken. No, we're just not letting him talk. In this group, you gotta interrupt him to talk, right?
Lee Graham has a great question. He would like to know what a water polisher is.
Ed, do you want to take that one since you have the professional version? And then I'll explain how I make one on my own.
I do. I love water polishers. You can buy mechanical ones, like Marineland sells one that works wonderful. And what it is, basically, it's going to suck the water through sponges or filtration, and it's going to pull all the particles in the water out and catch it and then shoot it back out, the water clean. So basically like a water system, a water filter for drinking water, but you put it in your fish tank. And I really think the new sharks, I whistled when I said sharks, the new sharks that KG Tropicals is selling is very much like a water polisher too, because it's an interior filter that goes inside the tank, and it's going to pull water through a bunch of sponges and shoot it out the top. So it's just like some people don't want to see little particles floating in their tank, and a water polisher is great at that. If you accidentally screw up and use not pool filter sand, but playground sand. Playground sand has a lot of clay in it to make it stick for kids. Well, if you put it in your tank, you're going to have a big cloud of that stuff. But if you have a polisher, you can pull it out real easy, and it works great. Lefty, you're grabbing something. Were you going to add to this?
I was just going to grab this since you mentioned it.
Awesome. What number is that?
The 900.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. I have the big and the little. I haven't got the medium one, but they're very cool.
If you haven't got one of those fancy filters from keepfishkeeping.com, and again, John, Lisa, I hope y'all are feeling better over at KG Tropicals, and thanks for letting us go a little early tonight. What you can do if you've got a power head is, and I do this all the time, because the basic premise of polishing the water comes from using a very, very fine filter media. So you can get polyfill, which you'll find in your fabrics department at your Walmart or whatever. Make sure you don't get the stuff that has mildew free or anything like that. And it's a very, very fine media. So I will take this. This is my polisher. This is what I do all the time. Not this specific one. Sneak peek. This is one of the things from the unboxing that you're getting to see early. But take this, and I'll take either a water bottle. I've got a couple particular bottles. I have found now that the new Snapple bottles, where they've changed to plastic, they're a really solid, rigid plastic, and I like those for a couple different DIY projects. But just take this, and the green screen's going to hate me here
Yeah.
or love me, depending on how you want to say it. But take that. This is just a water bottle. Now, this one doesn't fit quite as well as my other, so I might use a different size bottle because it's got some notches. I tend to just shove a little piece of sponge up in there. You could put a pre-filter on from the inside, but usually just a little square of sponge, just to make sure that the polyfill fibers don't get sucked into the impeller. And then I would shove this full polyfill. And what it's going to do is it's not going to push against polyfill like some methods do, but it's actually going to bring suction through the polyfill, which I find cleans a lot better and has a much deeper impact. And then it's going to push crystal clear water out of there because it's been through all this polyfill. I've got the sponge there to keep the polyfill fibers from getting into the impeller, into your motor, and clean water. And I could throw something like this in the Piranha tank and get it cleared up oftentimes overnight if I am having some additional particulate that I don't want in the water. So again, to the DIY thinking outside of the box, doing things cheap. You don't have to have a polisher if you're willing to figure out how to make one, but they are very cool products if you're looking to just buy it, have it, use it. The Sharks are awesome.
Do the particulates really bother everybody? They don't really bother me much. Especially, there's a canister filter on this and 2 sponge filters. I still, every once in a while, I'll have particulates in there, and it doesn't really bother me. It doesn't detract from anything. It doesn't,
It doesn't bother me. It bothers my camera if I'm trying to show off like a nice clean scape or something like that.
Yeah.
From that aspect, yes. If I'm trying to shoot something and the water's got that particulate, and especially if I'm doing, we'll just say an intense shot, high frame rate, really ramped up. Maybe I'm trying to grab an 8K clip so I can bring it back down and lower it and use it for something specific. The particulate gets annoying.
Gotcha.
From a hobbyist perspective, no. I mean, I'm one of those people that will say, like a lot of breeders, some of the best tanks for fish that they thrive the best in are dirty tanks, if you will. It's a dirty tank.
Dirty tank.
How about you guys? Particulate or no? You decide. No.
I use it when it's thick. Like I used it on green water, and with that marine landing, it pulled all the green water out.
Very, very cool. Let's see here. Croto Halfmoon says, Fish Room Fever, you look super duper fancy in Coop Cool green tie-dye, but you'll look even James Bond with matching Rico leggings. I don't think I'm going to do the leggings. I don't think that's going to happen. I very much appreciate the compliment, and I do love the shirt. Shout out to Coop because they did send this one to me. So there's my little legal disclosure that I have to do, but I appreciate that very, very much. I like their stuff, and I enjoy it. That's why I buy it, and that's why they send me some stuff from time to time. They go, hey, we think you'll like this.
Same here.
All right, I'm going to grab some questions and things. On the way down, Sean Chadwick. What's going on, Sean? It's always good to see you. Appreciate you being here. With the $3 thumbs up, fist bump, exercise pair. Appreciate you. Double thumbs up right back at you, my friend. Thanks for the support.
Get out of here.
Hope you're having a wonderful day. Hip Hop Hillbilly says, last question. How big of a pH difference should I start worrying about drip acclimating new fish? So that's a good one.
That is a good one.
I've been doing a lot of ranting on this episode. Would anybody else like to take this one first?
I honestly do not know. I don't pay attention that much. I've always heard things like it's okay to go one direction, like you can go to a higher pH, but not the lower, I believe, or at least more of a you have more room to go higher than lower, right? That's what I've always heard, but I don't really pay attention that close. It's never been an issue for me. I do drip acclimate sometimes. I have done it. Other times I float. It just depends on what I'm doing, but I've never once worried about the water they're currently in as opposed to the water that they're going into, other than temperature. Probably not the best answer, but that's how I've done it for the past 2 years and never once really had an issue. I don't lose a lot of fish. they get through quarantine just fine, no issues.
Either of you gentlemen have anything you want to input before I go on another rant again?
I'm a plop and dropper. I don't drip acclimate or really worry about things like that. Temperature's the one thing I worry about the most, and I've, knock on wood, not had anything keel over and die from just plopping and dropping. So again, probably not the best answer there, but
I do it for
So-
shrimp. I do it for shrimp because they're very sensitive to different things, and it's not just pH, it's everything. So that's why I like to slowly introduce them to everything that's in my water with shrimp. But I can't think of any fish that I've actually acclimated in the last year or two.
So I haven't even done that with the shrimp. I just bought some from the fish swap last week and let them float for a little bit, and then they just went right in this little 5-gallon. And my original bunch I got from Aquahuna almost 2 years ago. I bought 12 of them, and now I have hundreds of them in all the tanks. And again, even switching from tank to tank, obviously the water is going to be pretty close to the same in each of the tanks. I treat them the same way, but I've never once done anything like that.
If I get it locally, I don't worry about it. But like if I did from Aquahuna, that's coming from Washington, is it? Or
Yeah.
So their water
imagine.
might be a lot different from my water.
Yeah.
Just the chemicals and stuff that we don't know about. So that's why I would do it. Like when I get fish from Jesse, from Hawaii, I made sure I did it then. But for the most part, I just don't do it unless they live like on the other side of the country.
I don't even then, because I buy a lot from Aquahuna. I've
same.
That's awesome.
15 different orders over the years, and never once have I worried about. I did drip acclimate the very first shrimp I got that I was talking about, but as far as anything else, no. I get a lot of stuff from Dan's Fish. Again, nothing. I just make sure the water temperatures are close, and that's it. That's it.
So let me take a deep breath here. First off, let's establish the difference between drip acclimation and a slow flow acclimation. No, we're not going to talk like that. But there is definitely a significant difference between a true drip acclimation and what I will do sometimes, like I mentioned with shrimp, and that is a slower flow acclimation, taking that airline tubing and either using one of those little airflow adjusters, or you can even just kind of tie a knot and slowly pull it down until it cinches off at the flow that you want. I haven't really, there's one instance that I've done a true drip acclimation, and that was with the zebra plecos. Other than that, I've done slow flow acclimations, and this is on the freshwater side. I've done slow flow acclimations. Realistically, the things that you kind of want to look at, because I did drip acclimation on corals and salt, but we're not going to dive into that because probably out of 111 people, only 6 people care about the salt side. I would look at if it's to a varying degree that you're concerned about having to do a really long-term acclimation. Is it something that you want to go into the waters that you're set at? So it's like, okay, I'm getting this fish and the water's 8, my water is like 6.5. Is it a fish that you think you can successfully keep in 6.5 that comes from an 8? And maybe you can, but there are instances where you can't. So maybe I need to do something to buffer my water up, or I need to use RO to bring my water down. I feel like, to give you a straightforward answer, how big of a pH difference? I'm going to start looking at 1.5 degrees of pH. At what do I actually need to be doing here? Do I need to drip acclimate it to? Do I need to adjust what I'm putting it into? Those type of things. So there's a solid number for you to answer the question, plain and simple. Anything past that 1.5. So if I've got a fish, again, it's coming in at an 8, and I know this fish comes from this person or this source at an 8, and my tank's at a 6.5. That's not even going to be a drip acclimation for me. The process that I would use to swap to that extreme would be kind of a mid acclimation. So I would probably get that fish acclimated to like a 7.3, something like that, a mid ground over the course of a week. And then I would bring it down from there and acclimate it in to a 6.5, because Let's be honest. Most of us, if you took an African cichlid and just dropped it in a 6.5, float it and drop it in there, it's probably not going to do great. I think we can all agree with that straight out of the bat, majority of the time. Averages for beginners. So the answer is you probably don't have to worry about it unless you're trying to get a fish into an environment that it probably shouldn't be in. And the reason I gave that long answer is because we do have people that are at all different levels. So hopefully that brought some information to everybody, depending upon the level that you were looking at that from. But most fish that we get will do just fine. And like Lefty talked about in the Fever and Friends video that I released last Friday, where we talked about biggest mistakes that fish keepers make, it's chasing numbers. And so most fish are highly adaptive. You have to keep in mind that even in nature, throughout the day, they're going through temperature variables, not only from sunrise to sunset and nighttime, but even just any of us that have jumped off of a dock or a rock into I don't want to say a pond, but into a lake or whatever. Notice that if you jump down and you go deeper, it gets colder fairly quick within not too many feet. So these fish are constantly swimming around. They're hitting different temperatures, rapidly going, a couple degrees off. pH varies depending upon what time of day, what part of the river they're in, if they're in a river source. Maybe they've got a different pH when they get down to a part of the river that's got a lot of leaf litter and it's got a lot of, dead logs and things that are introducing tannins and botanicals that are bringing that pH down. So fish go through a lot of variables in nature. While I do like that we play on the safe side oftentimes, I feel like just with the flow that we talked about earlier, we don't give fish enough credit for being as adaptable as they really are and being as hardy and acceptable to some variations. So very long answer, but I hope that helped somebody out there. And if it did, it was worth it, even though I really need a cough drop now.
And you grew horns.
He did.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. We got a couple minutes here. I'm going to pull this poll down here. Let's see. Go to channel poll. Hopefully I don't break anything. It sent me off to there. Okay, I guess I need to look at the community tab is where it's trying to send me to.
For the one in chat?
No. Yeah. Well, that's what I was trying to do. It said go to chat. Okay, there we go. I don't know why it wanted me to go make a poll there. All right, which do you want tomorrow? We've got unboxing at 58% over product review over 42%. I will have that out for you all tomorrow. I'm releasing 9 o'clock, 9 Eastern time. So it's about a half hour before LRB goes live is when I'm currently releasing the weekly videos for everybody. For the members, you all will get to see that a little bit earlier tomorrow, maybe even tonight, depending upon how quickly I wrap up filming after we get done streaming. But as soon as we get done here, members, I will turn that green screen clone video over to you all so that you can check that out, because that's going to be the product review, which I will get set to release next Friday. But I think you'll like it. I think it's going to be fun. And I appreciate y'all participating. Got 100 votes in that, so that's really awesome that you all did that.
You said
at the last second. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I saw that too. You said the unboxing was from Bird Garden, right?
It is from Bird Garden.
That's what sold me. If it was anybody else, I would have been like, yeah, either one's fine. But because it was from Rack, that's why I really wanted to see that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's a little over 80 pounds worth of stuff and about $90 in shipping for all 4 boxes. And if he's going to spend $90 to ship it, it's going to be some good stuff coming in those boxes, and it is.
Have you looked in it already?
I have. I've filmed almost all of it. I'm kind of at the last part of filming, and then I can get it wrapped up and voiceover and all that cool stuff. I got to get my super cool fancy shots, Get the
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't filled with birds.
It wasn't, but thanks to Rack at Bird Garden. He's an awesome guy, good friend. Bird Garden and the Pond Life channels. Been supporting us for a long time, so we appreciate it. It is 9:30. What I would encourage you all to do, because I know we did have some highlighted stuff that I did not get to. I want to make sure I didn't miss any super chats or super stickers, though, real quick. I don't think that I did.
Misfit? Did you get Misfits?
Got Misfit. There it is. Thank you so much. Misfit Reptiles and Aquatics. Appreciate the $5 super chat there. Do a little dance.
Woo-hoo, raise the lefty.
All right. Yeah. Says, I'm glad all the fish and everything are right after the power outages you had this week. I know how nerve-wracking that can be. So yeah, I appreciate that. I really do. Not just the support, but the thoughts as well. Had 3 power outages this week from storms, and they've all been at night. The biggest inconvenience, honestly, has just been I can't sleep. I have to have my fan, and it gets hot. I haven't been able to sleep, so that's really thrown me off. But I honestly don't worry too much about the fish anymore unless it starts to go to like, okay, we're going to be looking at 24 hours. And I have things like the Aquarium Co-op USB air pumps. I have another thing, which is the product review that played a part in that. So you'll have to wait till next week to find out what that is. Unless you remember, you'll get to see exactly what it is. But I didn't worry about it too much. I didn't even hook up any of those pumps because I looked and I was like, it's chances are everything's going to be fine. I do monitor all the fish still. So if I walk through and see that anybody is even starting to have tendencies to go to the surface that wouldn't normally be there, oxygen deprivation, then I will put those things into play. But it's one of those things I feel like as you get more and more accustomed to fish keeping and you move from what I call the hobbyist to the aquarist level, if you will. I'll never claim to be an expert. You learn your fish, you learn your tanks, and you realize that yes, it's better to be safe than sorry, but also there's a point that you really don't need to be stressing about. And so finding the knowledge to have that balance makes it a huge difference. On that note, I encourage all of you all to bring any questions that we didn't answer, and I am sorry there were some. Normally I'm a little bit less long-winded, or try to be, but I wanted to give some detailed answers for those specific questions because I thought they touched on some really good topics from beginner to, advanced fish keeper. Bring them over to Rico's show. You're going to get magically teleported over there here in just a second. But before we do that, I'll let everybody have a moment for final thoughts. So, Ed?
It was really fun. And hopefully I'll be on my normal computer by next time.
Absolutely. Lefty?
Well, thank you for having me on. It was fun as always. Rocky Miles, thank you for that $1.99 super chat there too. That super sticker.
Absolutely. Rico Stan.
Nice. Don't pet the sweaty stuff and don't sweat the petty stuff.
I love it. Absolutely. Like Lefty said, Rocky and Miles, thank you so much for that $2 super sticker with the cool exercise pair hanging out there. Appreciate that. A huge thank you to Chattanooga Ed, Rico Stan, and Lefty3213A. Be sure you go check their channels out. We will add a link in the description to this video. The link for the Rico Stan chat is in the chat, just in case this doesn't magically teleport us all, but it should. A huge thank you to all the moderators, members, lurkers, listeners, super chatters, contributors, questioners, commentators, my special guests and co-hosts, and of course the replay crew. I love you guys. Till next time, keep your fish healthy, keep yourselves healthy. Don't be afraid to catch yourself a little fish room fever. Take care.